2023 looks to be an amazing year for Metroidvanias, and here are our top 5 choices. What can be said about Silksong that hasn't already been said? The general consensus is that Silksong is not only one of the most anticipated Metroidvanias possibly ever, but it's arguably the most anticipated game for 2023, with a few others on the shortlist including Starfield and Tears of the Kingdom. This is an elite list to be on for such a small indie game developed by a handful of people about a game set in a subterranean insect world. The only concern is that most people are resistant to change, and Silksong is looking to iterate on the formula in plenty of ways that might make it feel just a little too different from the original, and the history of debut Metroidvanias and their sequels back this theory up. Mongoose Rodeo's Crowsworn does not look like a brand new studio's first game. Instead, it looks like a AAA Metroidvania worked on by a huge studio with a huge budget. Mongoose Rodeo did what most indie games do and went the Kickstarter path, but the big difference is that instead of trying to start the game on Kickstarter from scratch, the team arrived with a strong foundation of a finished game. Many of the core aspects of the game were completed before heading into funding, and explains why the team was able to gather over $1.2 million towards finishing the game that has hand-drawn art and tight controls of Hollow Knight, the atmosphere of Bloodborne, the stylized combat of Devil May Cry, and the platforming of Donkey Kong Country. From the reaction of the demo that Mongoose Rodeo have released, the reception has been overwhelmingly positive. Our personal choice for most anticipated Metroidvania of 2023 is the debut title from Plot Twist. Every other game on this list looks amazing, but the two main reasons that Fox appeals to us the most is the story-first approach and the theme of the game. You play as Benedict Fox, a self-proclaimed detective who was paired with a demonic companion at birth. This gift and curse allows Fox to enter into the minds of the deceased to help solve the mystery. This occult mystery thriller seems like a very original take on the genre, and the moving between dimensions will hopefully lead to some incredible aha puzzle moments. Benedict Fox first started out as a story, then headed towards a comic series before finally pivoting to the game that we know now. If there is one game on this list that seems like a dark horse to surprise people, it's Ellipse from Hot Chili Games. The company and the game only have around 800 followers on Twitter, and the studio itself is only around half a dozen members. According to the devs, it's inspired by Ori, Celeste, Dark Souls, and yes, Hollow Knight, but have stated that the team has worked very hard to make the game feel original. In early December, the team stated that they are shooting for a Q1 2023, and from the minimal trailers that we've seen, everything looks like a much darker Ori, and when asking other devs how the game feels publicly, the developers of Season commented that Ellipse feels both satisfying and magical, which certainly sounds like Ori. It's becoming refreshing when there is no clear Hollow Knight influence on a new Metroidvania. The Last Faith looks to be taking a much more retro approach with its 16-bit visuals, visceral combat, and Bloodborne-esque theme, with a city being corrupted by disease along with a distance weapon. Initially targeted for 2022 in late November, The Last Faith was delayed into 2023. If there's one thing in the trailer that stands out, it's the brutally graphic combat and executions. Some of the goals that the team has passed on Kickstarter included pixel-animated cinematic scenes and English voice acting. The Last Faith looks to be what Castlevania could have evolved to in an alternate universe.